Just a quick update on my book, Generation's End. We're very proud to announce that it is now available on Audible. The book itself is narrated by the very talented Matt Godfrey. Check it out, I'll post the links below. And don't forget to review it, we'd love to hear what you guys think. Shogun. The Epic Novel of Japan by James Clavell. So, Audible recently had a sale which drastically reduced the price of a lot of its books, most of which in that sale I had never heard of, this one being one of them. And I realize it's a bestseller, but I had never heard of James Clavell, his Asian saga books, and I don't think I have heard any books from that narrator, Ralph Lister. On Audible, it's 53 hours and 32 minutes, and I think I picked it up for $10, which in my opinion means bang for buck. This book gets 5 stars. So not knowing what to expect, I listened to it, and right away I knew it was going to be a book I would like. If for no other reason than the narration that it gets. The narrator really acts out the parts, so the main character, Blackthorn, really sounds like that gruff sea pilot, no-nonsense, tough guy. He's really got the raspy voice, very harsh, probably because he's used to yelling over the winds and the sounds of the sea at his men across the deck. And the narrator really gets that through with his gravelly portrayal of that character. But also, the author just doesn't say, oh, we were in a storm. He goes so far to describe the conditions, what's going through the guy's head. Then he goes down below and he pulls out his apple with maggots on it that he's been saving and hoarding just to keep off scurvy and barely hanging on to life. Really sounds like a poor career move. But in 1600, which I believe is when this book takes place, I think it was the sense of adventure that drew people to that life. Seeing places that no one else in the world had seen, new experiences, and basically going off to earn your fortune is basically, I think, the draw back then. And the way he describes the characters seems very accurate to me because, like I'd said, I'd listened to other books. For example, Shackleton's book, the book about the Endurance, which I also did a review for. I could totally see this character Blackthorn on Shackleton's crew. So like I said, right away I was impressed with just the overall quality of the novel, and it took me about a little over a week to get through the entire thing. Like I said, I think it was like 53 hours. So I listened to it at work, in the truck to work, while I cut the grass, while I did the dishes, while I cleaned the house. It was about a week. And that whole time I didn't really feel like I wanted the book to end. Like it could have just kept on continuing. I didn't feel like he was really beating any one topic to death, just going over it and just dragging it on for the sense of having a really thick novel, with maybe the exception of all the talk of pillowing. I understand that was a big part of their culture, and also one of the vast differences between Blackthorn's culture and the Japanese. So like I said, because it took place in 1600, you're getting a very high contrast between the cultures. Blackthorn being the gruff sailor that he is, I can't imagine a better way to contrast with the Japanese being neat, tidy, and the proud samurais, arrogant samurais, paper houses, no privacy. Blackthorn being the Catholic that he, Blackthorn being the Christian that he is, taught that each life is precious. And the samurai, being the complete opposite, believing in reincarnation, have no problem chopping off a villager's head just for being rude. And the author goes as far as to make Blackthorn really struggle with that, seeing it. And I find it's really ironic that they call him the barbarian when they are so easy to just throw away a life and to have characters kill themselves, and especially in the manner that they kill themselves, very barbaric themselves, but they consider themselves extremely civilized and refined. I had to look up when this book was originally published. I think it was in 1975, but the way it's worded, the language used, I couldn't help but wonder while I was listening to it before I researched it, how old it was. It was worded in such a way that if you had told me it was written 100 years ago, I'd probably have believed you. The various phrases that are used and the language suggests that it's very old, which is appropriate for the time period. But like I said, it also had the excellent narrator. So the Japanese that he says in the book, I almost wonder how correct those pronunciations are. Of course, I don't speak Japanese, so I have to take their word for it. But it got me wondering about the culture of Japan. I know basically nothing about it. And because of this book, I bought a couple of the courses online from Audible about Japanese culture just to see what it was like. So overall, I think this book blew me out of the water for what I wasn't really expecting much. I didn't know who the author was or the narrator. Both of them did an excellent job. And then I come to find out that it's a series, but I'm not exactly sure how they would continue on. But regardless, I bought the next book. And also, it turns out that they made a mini-series of this in the 80s, which, by the way, is horrible. The author does such a good job describing the main character so vividly that it's have a very specific picture in my head on what this character should be like, and I didn't make it very far in the TV miniseries. I just couldn't stand it. I feel like it was almost ruining the experience for me. So let me know what you thought of the book in the comments below. I wonder if there's anyone out there that hated it, and if so, why, and I'll talk to you next time.